Hindi po ibig sabihin nun. Dahil kung sabay-sabay ng video, pwede yung hindi na lang.
since we already completed the installation of Kali Linux, we are going to be looking at some of the basic of Linux. This is really just to get you started or to get you prepared or to give you some preparation work to do in Linux to get you wrapped up for the ethical hacking or any security courses for you to further hone your talent in security. So as you follow this set of commands, you will discover you have to be more creative when it comes to ethical hacking. First, what is Kali Linux? Kali Linux is developed by the security firm Offensive Security. It's a Debian-based rewrite of their previous Knoppix-based digital forensics and penetration testing distribution backtrack. Here, you will learn basic commands to help you navigate any Linux system. You can edit files, configure manage services, users, groups, and permissions, and many multiple commands for greater effect. So to start with, we should log in as root because if you need changes or to do administrative tasks, you need to be root. One of the most basic and fundamental things when it comes to Linux is knowing where you are and what is in the current directory that you're in. To find out what your current working directory is, just type pwd, which is short for print working directory. As you can see, by default, we're actually in the root directory. Now, keep in mind this is the home profile or the home directory of the root account. It is not the same as being at the root of the drive, for example, if I did some change directory. Now, also if I do a ls, there are a lot of other subdirectories inside these directories. But in this case, we don't see any files or directories. So we do change directory to home Kali since those directories or folders are in home Kali. So how can we move backward or forward? We have command cd or change directory. Let's try to know the print working directory first. Where's our current location? So pwd, we are in home Kali, right? So when we do cd dot dot, it means we are going backward one. So we are currently in home directory. When we do cd, um, let's ls first to check the listing. We have only Kali directory. So when we do cd Kali, we are moving forward. So we are now in a /home/Kali, right? And when we do ls, we now see these folders or directory that normally we can see on the default folders in Windows, right? Like documents, downloads, pictures, videos. Those are some directories you can see also in Windows. And when it comes to a listing or ls, we have different options. We have -l for long listing, which means we can see all the permissions, dates, and things that are cannot be seen in an ordinary ls. And when we do ls-la, we can see those files that are hidden. So the basic of looking around in first of all figuring what your current directory is and then looking into what's in that current directory. So let's try to go to the one of the hidden files, .cache. So let's change directory to .cache and then do ls. And then we can also see some files inside .cache. Okay? What if we wanted to create and remove a folder or directory? Simple. We have make directory and rm directory, rmdir. So let's try mkdir. mkdir then the file name, whatever file name we wanted. In this case, it's a test underscore folder. Okay, and now when we do ls, you can see test underscore folder, right? And when you want to remove the directory or the folder, just use rmdir and then the file name. In this case, test underscore folder. And then when we do listing or ls, now the test folder is gone, right? So that's simply removing and adding and removing folders. Additionally, if you wanted to go to a file or folder that's not on the list, for example, when we do change directory to downloads, which is small letter, and as we all know, downloads has a capital D, it will show file is not in this current directory, right? So when we do change directory to the real one, or which is existing, change directory downloads, you will see it is successful. So meaning Linux is case sensitive, right? Our next command is cp. When you want to copy a folder or a file, you use cp. It's like a duplication of the folder or files. In this case, we are using the cp-r because we will create a folder. Let's try to create a folder. So cp make directory, let's try make directory test. Then we do ls, we have test folder. We do cp test. This will fail, of course, to home Kali documents. You want to copy this to the documents folder. Then it's giving us an error, right? Because it's wrong. I mean, this is not the right syntax for copying a folder, because it might have some content or files or folders as well. So when we do try to cp home Kali test, it gives us error as well. We should be using -r or -a options for cp. Since test is a directory, cp-r, let's try it. Then let's provide, since document is a folder, cp-r. Now we can see the test folder is inside the document. Let's try to change the directory to documents and then ls. Now we can see the test folder, right? And same thing with files. We do cp, then the source, and then the destination name, file name. Our next command is move. Move is different from a copy or cp, because move means you're moving the file or folder to a different location. So the original file will be removed as well. While copy, the original file or folder is still on the current location. Let's try to show the command for move. So let's try to move the test to videos. Then when we do ls, we are not seeing the test folder, right? When we do change directory to videos and then ls, now we can see the test. So the original test folder is now gone, right? So those are some basic list of things that you need to know going into, or I mean navigating to Kali Linux, right? So a couple of other things that we want to point out is basically looking back at some of the things you've typed. You can always type the history command and this is in just about every Linux distro, and hit enter and it shows you the history of everything you type and since you started this terminal session. Okay, and we also have manual. This is just for you to check all the options under a specific command. Let's try do man to a specific command that we learned a while ago. When we do man and then the command, you will see all the options: description, synopsis, name, what's that for. So that's the manual for ls. Then we can quit or q to exit. Let's try more commands to do some manual. Man for cd, there's no manual for cd. Man for cp, you'll see also the name, synopsis, description, and other options that you can use. It also has their descriptions. Our next command to learn is, next thing that we should learn is permission, file permission. It's very important for you to provide or to grant access to a specific person, group, or others. So here, for example, we have a test folder. You can see on the right side, those are permissions. So the RWX, R-X, R-X, those are file permissions. So the first RWX is for the owner. It's for the user who created the file or directory. And then the next R-X is group to which the owner belongs to. And then the others, for all other users, we also have R-X. So if you want to change the permission of the group to have a writable permission, or if you want to grant access, you can do so. So our next command is chmod. It's to change the permission or the file permission or folder permission. So R is for read, W is for write, X is for execute. To define permission, we have a symbolic mode and the octal or numeric mode. We will discuss the octal or numeric mode. For symbolic mode, we have U for user, G group, O. You can use U is equal to RWX, then G is equal to RWX, then O is equal to RWX. But in this case, we will use the octal or numeric mode, which R has the value of 4, write, W has the value of 2, execute has the value of 1, and no permission has the value of 0. So if you want to provide or grant access to a group with write, read, and execute, you have to add those 4 read, write 2, and then execute 1. So 4 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 7. Therefore, the possibilities are 7 is for read, write, and execute permission. 6 is for read and write privileges. 5 is for read and execute privileges. And 4 for read privileges. For now, you may ignore the first letter in the ls, the D. That is for the file type. There are 3 possibilities for this type. It can either be a regular file. You can see dash, also a directory D. It means this is a directory, and then L for link. So in this case, this is a directory. So we have D, then RWX, 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 or R-X, R-X. Okay. So let's try to change the permission of test file. So let's try chmod and then read-write access to group and others because user or owner is already has read-write access RWX. Let's try chmod 777. That's for read-write execute. Then the file name or file or the folder. Then we do ls. We see the file permission changed to RWX for the group and RWX for the others, right? If you want to return it back to R-X and R-X, for R-X, no write, it's not writable by the group or the others. It is 5. So 1 plus 4, 755. You have to remain the ownership to 7. Read write execute, and then 755, then the file name. ls-l, then you see it is now r-x and r-x for group and others, right? 5 means r-x in octal mode. We also have to change ownership and to change group. Simple commands. Just use chown, then the username and the file name. While for the change group, chgrp, the space, then group name, and then the file name. So next is the file etc, then passw, the password. So /etc/password is a file that stores essential information, which is required during login. In other words, it stores user account information. It is a plain text file. The next is /etc/shadow. It stores actual password in encrypted format. So this is for user accounts with additional properties related to user password. Basically, it stores secure user account information compared to etc password. Okay, you now see the difference between etc password and etc shadow. You can use this information where if you're going to crack the username and password, I mean the password for a specific user. Our next command to learn is when it comes to networking is ifconfig and euconfig. So if command is for local network, while iwconfig is for wireless. Let's try to get the information if we type ifconfig. So ifconfig shows the IP addresses, the subnet, the gateway, while euconfig it shows the wireless adapter or network connected to your Linux. So in this case, we don't have connected wireless connections. So then we have ping google.com ping. That's for to check the ICMP if the server or the system or the website is reachable or not. Our next command is arp. ARP command manipulates or displays the kernel's IPv4 network neighbor cache. So it stands for Address Resolution Protocol, which is used to find the address of a network neighbor. Then we have netstat. It's a command line utility that can be used to list out all the network socket connections on the system. You will see TCP, UDP, and those connections listening. Then we have route. It shows the route table, but in this case we don't have route because our VM is configured with NAT and no connected in a network. Now let's move on to the creation and edition. I mean, edit, create and edit file. We have VI, we have gedit, but in this case, I'll use VI. Let's try to create a file and then edit the content. Then we have try VI test.txt. So Shift I to edit, then the word or anything that you wanted to create. So this is just a test. Then escape and then colon and then WQ, which is write and quit, then exclamation point. Then we can check the content by using cut. So cut text, test the text, it will show the content of the file, right? It's just simple. You can use gedit as well and other file editor. You will encounter as well a single greater than and a double greater than. It means single is equal to append and then double. I mean a single is override and then double is append. So let's try. So we have echo, then the test. Let's try any word, then to test the text. So when we do cut test the text, you will see the new word that we created, right? So this is only a test was removed, so it's override. When we do echo, let's try everyone. Let's test everyone and then double. It's append. So the first line is still exists, and then the next one, the next line was added. So it's append. So that's the difference, override and append. You may usually experience or encounter this when you're doing Nmap or anything when it comes to ethical hacking using this Kali Linux system. So let's try to start web Apache servers. So to do this, we have to do service Apache to start, because from the default from the start we don't have an Apache server. If you're going to get the IP address of the Kali Linux is the 192.168.1.6 and then put it on the web, then you will not see anything. So let's try to let's go to the browser. Let's check what's the browser here in Kali Linux 2020. Let's okay, let's try this one. If we put in the browser the IP of the Kali Linux, it should said something about an Apache, which shows that Apache service is, or web service is running here. Let's change the from NAT to bridge for us to have an internet access. Okay. You will see the IP of the Linux. You can do restart on the Apache service, then stop. just change the start to restart and then stop. 192.168.1.6 HTTP, let's try. So you see Apache 2 Debian default page. So meaning this Kali Linux is running the Apache service. Let's try echo test. This is just a test. This is okay. Then we redirect it to the var www HTML. Let's try the index.html. Okay. So this is just a simple introduction to a web service. No, let's try the index.html. Because we are not running any listening port, so we should be doing some command for the Kali Linux to listen via port 80 or any port that needed. So this is the simple HTTP server. This is needed for them to listen. It's port 80 is already in use, so let's try 8080. So when we say 192.168.1.6 and then 8080, you will see the listing or the directory for 192.168.1.6 web service. So this is just a simple command. You can use that command python-m, simple HTTP service or server. No, it's a different one. It should be 192.168.1.6 only. You'll see the difference, right? If you're going to add index.html, because by default it's running through the index.html already. So 192.168.1.6, then see, you can now see the content of the index.html. So this is just a test, right? Or any content.
It should be 192.168.1.6 only.
And let's stop it. You can stop the service, then just stop Apache to service stop. So we have apt-get update and apt-get upgrade. An apt-get update updates the list of available packages in their versions, but does not install or upgrade any packages, while on the other hand, upgrade actually installs newer versions of the packages. So we will try this because we already upgraded this Kali Linux 2020. Then we have the Git clone. GitHub is for developers. Website that allows collaboration between developers. To do this, we just use git clone and then the URL or the link. Then just change directory to that file name, then git pull, then that's it. You may need to learn bash scripting as well, because bash scripting makes your life easier. It automates your process, especially for multiple action or repetitive actions. So let's try. Let's get the fconfig, then ping the IP address of your Kali Linux. This is just an example. Then redirect it to IP.text. Okay. Let's try about 5 ping. Then let's cut to show the content. Okay, just 2. Then we can add some commands. So ping 192.168.1.6, then the grep, it just includes or get the output with the specific words that you want. TTL equals to 64, then enter. You will not see the when you're doing the ping. You will see a certain in line one specific wording, but in this case you will not see it because we are only grabbing the TTL is equal to 64. When you do cut means to delimit. I mean you can only get a specific word in the line. So when we then try cut dash D and then the delimiter is a space between two quotation, and then F means field. If you want to, what field you want to get? I want to get field 4 because it's the IP address. Where the IP address? 192.168.166. Let's try field 4. And now let's try for about 2 ping. Then stop. You can do cut if you don't want to do this if you want to check the output. Then okay, let's try the cut because it cut dash D is not will not work in ping directly. So cut IP.text. Okay, you will see the field 4 was 192.168.1.6, but you see a colon, right? You may omit a colon, right? By doing trim, you redirect the output again to trim, and then the delimiter is colon for you to get the reader out of it. Delimiter and then the colon. Then you will only see the 192.168, right? And additional information is you should always use VPN for you to secure yourself, your laptop, or your information from any investigation or further investigation. So do not scan or do something to any company or any website that you are not allowed because it's a violation, it's illegal. And for this course you should also study Bash and Python scripting. It will really help you a lot as you go along the course or to be a penetration tester or an ethical hacker. And again, thank you for listening. This course is only for educational purpose and not in any related to any certifications. Thank you for listening and watching, and have a good day, everyone.